phrase of the day. It's how I'm feeling today. I only slept a few hours after a 12-hour flight. Can you imagine? Yes, a ball in a bucket. Picture this. Put a ball in a bucket and shake it. Or put a bean in a mug. Or a coffee bean in a coffee grinder. By the way, now I'm feeling better. Guess why? Yes, of course. The best coffee.
Adored this
You know what?
film. This is something that I would show all of my friends when they're talking about coming up with an interesting low-budget short film that does something creative while still having a really clear narrative and being really accessible for viewers and being entertaining nonetheless. The choice to shoot this with 2 cameras was mind-bogglingly cool. The performer was so believable as a influencer who's put into this box and quite isolated considering most of her life is plastered on screens. I thought all of the performances were really great, and I loved the world building they managed to do within such a short period of time. I felt like I could have watched this girl for hours, and I think that's an interesting point because so much of this is about her need to be alone and to not be watched all the time. So I was almost falling into the trap of this influencer. Yeah, just so cool. And like, I wish more people were making films like
Which,
this.
for starters, I think is a great name for this piece. Not only because that's what we learned she's doing, but it's just simple and to the point, and it's not very, flowery. Which, as we get into it, is really what it's all about. I think it's a great social commentary on social media and the always on culture, which made the choice to keep that picture in picture going regardless of whether or not she was actively filming. I thought was really smart and well played. It could easily have seemed like a gimmick, and in most instances it would be, but I think it was absolutely vital to this piece, and the way it was executed was really smart. Really, it's just a shining piece. Does a great job at exemplifying that culture, that always onness. So yeah, I absolutely recommend The Girl Who Is Selling Fish.
I really like the way you told the story. I really rock it with the multiple perspectives going at the same time in real time, because it adds so much meaning and story to like the choices that you made with the phone angles and when you're cutting in and out of that. And like, I think that was such a brilliant choice, and I love that so much. And then also because it's like we've never seen that before. Like we've seen the multiple video feeds going at the same time, but like never like this to this extent. And I really liked it. So really well done. Good job.
Really interesting having both angles of seeing an influencer's channel from the phone's perspective, but then also seeing the outside perspective, which we don't usually see, and what it looks like to be talking to a virtual audience. And it almost makes it seem silly in a way, from the outside perspective, or odd, and not a part of the environment. And it was so interesting to watch her from that outside perspective, not actually taking in any of the sights or the sounds, suffering for this one call, and all of the preparations into putting the perfect post together. She was so charismatic and lovely to watch, so it was believable with her as the influencer, especially with those scenes with the agent. And I think it was really well crafted in that it also showed all the underlying layers of depth as well, and the underlying currents of paranoia, of stress, of not having the ability to tune off, to always being connected, and what that does to somebody's emotional state and to like the rhythms of their life. So I thought that the ending was brilliant because we finally got to see how the constant self-denying in order to be marketable could be swept away, and what gives freedom and release in that antithesis. And that's just taking some time to take in the sights and connect with oneself. I thought this was really, really well crafted.
I really liked this one. I found the style of the two point of views to be very unique, and really cool. It kind of showed us the life of what it's like to be a social influencer, and I think the two points of view make sense because you have the phone point of view, which is basically what we get to see, but then you have the fly on the wall third person point of view where you get to see what it's actually like. Kind of like how, okay, let's get really meta. Let's talk about this reaction right now. Everything is framed in a certain way that you can only see what's right in front of the camera, but you can't see everything around. So like, well, I know what my life is like. You watching this video, you don't. And that's kind of what I feel like the girl who sells fish, that's what they were trying to portray, how you think you know someone just because you watch their videos, but in reality, you don't know their life. And then also tackling how draining and exhausting having to upkeep everything can be. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. But yeah, I definitely loved the multiple perspectives. I thought it was very creative, and I would love to see more uses of that, because I feel like there's a lot of possibilities that you can use that style for. And yeah, very much enjoyed that.
That was excellent short film. Yeah, I really liked the juxtaposition of the subjective and the objective cameras in the split screen all the time. Really accentuated the whole frenzy of the modern world of like living our lives through the phone, and the amount of pressure that was putting on this young woman. By the way, her performance was just spectacular. I thought it was spot on, just note perfect throughout the whole thing. There's great writing. It just sustained itself throughout. There just didn't seem to be a wasted moment in this short film. It was just so sparsely told story, just beautiful, just everything just pared down to the experience of this young woman, and just keeping her alone throughout this whole film really brought through the loneliness of this existence, that she has all these followers and all these people that she's interacting with through her phone, but she's the only one we see throughout this entire film. And it really gives us a sense of how she's alone in the world, in spite of everything that she might be everything that might be surrounding her in the virtual world. So yeah, I thought just the filming was great. The also wanted to say that the sound was really nice. The just all the ambient sounds that really brought home the realism of this thing, which also helps us experience life through her lens. So yeah, just great writing, great performance, great direction, great camera work, sound, everything. Just really spot on. Great film.
I like the edition technique on this film. The issue they are addressing is quite relevant and timely. I appreciate how they tackled it and the sensible approach with an eye on the underlying situation behind the scenes of this materialistic appearance-driven society. The main character is just so honest and natural about what the big burden she's having right now, and I think it was tackled sensibly, and I think the producers did a great job as well as the performance.
I think you guys did a great job of just capturing kind of this loneliness that the character felt, despite her living in Los Angeles, one of the, biggest cities in America. And I think the film just speaks a lot to many people's experiences in LA. And I think it was just a really interesting take on the often, glamorized influencer lifestyle in Los Angeles. I think you guys did a really great job of showing the two different angles, like what her phone sees and what she sees, because it kind of gave this like sense of this is what she's showing on social media, and then the other side was like everything that happens in the background. I thought that was really smart. And I really liked how in the ending you guys got rid of that phone screen. I think it just, was a great way to visually represent her kind of freedom from the stresses that her, job was causing her. So overall, I thought it was a super interesting film and just captured a really, interesting contemporary issue with, social media influencers. So good job.